Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to talk about Journey Together. You see, we've just seen the release of Destined Rivals. That is the second of the trainers set, so to speak. The set to have, trainers Pokemon in. And that's awesome, and it's basically the last one. We only really had two of them. And the first one was Journey Together, so I thought, well, alright then. We're talking a lot about Destined Rivals. Maybe we should have a check back in on Journey Together, see what's going on. And what's going on is a set which is crashing in price far more than we normally see. A set which is just plummeting, and this is great news for fans. Because when a set goes down like Journey Together is going down, it basically says to anyone that was buying it early, trying to make a huge amount of money from it, etc., you should not have bothered, mate. This was not a great idea. And all it's going to take is a few sets like this. And before you know it, a lot of the scalpers are going to start going, you know what? I'm not sure this was entirely worth it. And the more scalpers we get rid of, the more sensible prices we get for the rest of us. And jobs are good 'un. So yes, I like this. I am a very big fan of this. Now, in terms of sealed product, it is getting better. We'll look at singles in a second. Singles are getting hilarious. Sealed product is getting better. And don't get me wrong, yes, it is still sold out over on the Pokemon Center. You're not going to pick this up on the Pokemon Center, and I'm sure at some point there'll probably be a reprint. Pokemon have been loving doing reprints and restocks lately, but it's fair to say that right now it's not in stock on the Pokemon Center, boo, hiss, etc. But I'm sitting here in the UK, and we got places like Magic Madhouse, not a store I'm endorsing, just pointing out that it has it in stock, and they've got it in stock for 165 quid. It's there. It's available for 165 quid. Which is not too bad. You might want to note they're not comparing it to RRP there. We know what happens when big online stores don't compare to RRP, but they're honestly not far off at all here. This is a pretty good price. This is not bad, honestly. And the thing is, that then has a knock-on effect over on eBay. Because if we go and have a look over on eBay, we got a couple that are there right now for like the 160 quid range. Because when online stores have got it in stock for a decent price, for around retail and just a tiny bit more, that means that you can't really sell it on eBay for lots more than retail, because why would anyone buy it when it's in stock in stores? And that's kind of more proof that, I've given you one store, it's in stock. Ain't the only one, ladies and gentlemen. There are a few around. Now, I will say in the US, it seems a little bit more of a pain. Sorry about that. It's not ideal, but honestly, like right now, if you go and have a look at what they're being sold for, I'm not sitting here saying that it's perfect or anything along those lines, but we're almost in reasonable territory here. You can pick up a box for like $200, which again, I know is above retail. It's not good, but it's not the horrendous price we were expecting going into Journey Together. And it's not as high as it has been. Again, I don't like anything being over retail. I think I've been pretty clear about that. My point isn't, yay, it's ridiculously cheap. My point is, yay, it's not ridiculously expensive. Because around release, we were talking nearer $250 for booster boxes, or, there or thereabouts. And you'll notice that $203 one is the one that's got the promo. Yeah, that promo's not how it is valued. We might as well talk about that for a second. Remember, Journey Together was like the one set that had two different kinds of boxes. We had the regular box, and then we had the enhanced booster box, which was basically exactly the same, except it had a little red note on the front saying, hey, there's a Reshiram in here. And then there was a Reshiram in there. Yeah. That Reshiram has not had its value at all. We can see the pre-release price, it was like $70. On release, it went down to like 25. Now it's sitting down there at 11. And the funny thing is, regular Reshiram is 12. This is worth like 74p more than regular Reshiram. This, and I love that Pokemon did this. I really love that Pokemon did this. They gave us a promo, but they went, it's just a regular promo, mate. Like, it's got a stamp, and that's awesome, but it's not alternate art, it's not mechanically unique. It's a cool little, thank you for buying a booster box early, but let's not pretend it's some ridiculous card that everybody's going to be falling over themselves to get. And people weren't falling over themselves to get it, and it's become a pretty reasonable price. So, and look, I know there are people who wanted it for their sealed collection, and that is actually kind of annoying. Sorry about that. But unless you were wanting to keep the booster box sealed, you can literally just pick up the promo for like $12. And like I said, even the sealed boxes nowadays you can pick up for $200. So, yeah, that's quite good. So, although it's not perfect in terms of picking up boxes, it's a lot better than we were expecting. And let's see what it's done to the singles, because across the board, I'd say they've gone down in price, but that really would be a disservice to the phrase gone down in price. Take a look at Lily's Clefairy. What were people trying to sell it for on pre-sale? $340. What's it selling for now? $150. The hands down best card in the set is less than a booster box. That's good news for everyone that wants it. Now, number 2 is still Salamence. I don't know why. This makes no sense to me. I've told you this in a couple of videos. I don't know why Salamence is number 2. I don't think Salamence should be number 2. It's fine, but it's not good playability-wise. It's not got a trainer on. The artwork's lovely, but I don't think it's special in a way which would put it up to the second best card in the set. It's not there in Japan. Japan does not have this as a number 2 card in the set. Frankly, I don't think it makes a huge amount of sense, but it doesn't matter because it's dropped from like 240 to 80. And I know some people don't like using the pre-sale prices. Well, on release it was 165 and now it's 83, so pretty much exactly half. Brilliant. We love it. And Zoroark, pre-sale of 220. On release it was 150 to 200, that kind of range. Now it's below 80. You can see where we're going with this right now, I assume. It's going to keep going. There is a real definite pattern here, and it is wonderful. And here's the thing, right? When we see something like En's Reshiram at $80, if this is the kind of card you really want, if you're an En fan or a Zoroark fan, you look at this and you're like, I need that promo. It's like half the price of a box. So why would you buy a box trying to pull it? Pick up the promo. Bellabo actually on release was 127-ish, 125, 130, thereabouts. It's now 65. You'll notice that half of the release price is roughly where we are for these big cards. Not the pre-sale price, half of the release price. And this set's only like 3 months old. Let's not go pretending this set has been out for ages. It hasn't. It's been out for a few weeks. But people have decided, you know what, this is fine. And it's probably a combination of the set being more available than people were expecting. And I'm not even sure it's necessarily underwhelming cards. I just think people are bored of paying over the top for these ridiculous cards a lot. Look at Enzashium. We had a pre-sale of like $180. It's a $55 card. And $55 is nothing to be sniffed at. You'd be delighted if you pulled it. But my point is, we're talking about a card here where if this is that card in the set where you look at it and you're like, oh man, I want that card, just go buy it. They are all cheap enough now to just go and buy. We go to something like Prismatic Evolutions, we look at the Umbreon, you're like, hey, do you want to spend over $1,000 on an Umbreon? People don't, frankly. Whereas Journey Together, you're like, yeah, cool. I'm not paying $1,000 for it because there's nowhere near $1,000. But I'll pay like 50 to 80 quid for almost any card in the set that doesn't have Lily on it. Volcanion, which is actually seeing a little bit of play, which is quite nice. It's a $35 card. By the way, I'm going in order here, and I ain't shown you that many cards, and we're already down to $34. We've already gotten down to $34. And, it's Volcanion, and Volcanion's nice enough and all of that, and it is a playable card. Saw a cool burn deck on stream in Bologna a couple weeks ago, weekend before the one gone. Point is, cool card, but it shouldn't, it's coming down nicely. Iono's Bellibolt, the gold version, down to $25. And Zoroark, the gold version, down to, well, actually just a tiny bit above $25, but still. I don't know what you're thinking at this stage. Wassy. What about the illustration rares? Because we know that some of those illustration rares go a little bit silly. Maybe some of those have kept their value very, very nicely. Look, I'm making this video and I think I've been pretty clear about where we're going with all of this. Take a look at the number 1 in the set. Take a look at the Articuno. From a pre-sale of 60 and a release of like 45, we're now down to 20. Which is not even that high for a lot of illustration rares nowadays. Journey Together has done what I've been waiting for sets to do for a while. It is a set that basically on release, it went down, they all go down on release. But this is a set that went down on release, and the player base was just like, nah, mate, keep it going. My boy Wailord, a card I want to pick up, but I was not willing to pay, $60 plus on release. $15 card now. Now we're talking about a card that I might be willing to pick up. And when we look at all of this as a total, we see that boxes, no, they're not readily available everywhere at retail, and I'm not claiming they are, but they are a lot cheaper than we were expecting. And then you add in the fact that these singles are crashing so hard that honestly, you don't even necessarily need boxes anymore. A lot of the time, especially for the fancy singles, you really are just better off going and buying them. And this all adds up to a set which I'm hoping this is kind of back to normal. Some people are going to look at this and go, well, that's a disappointing set, surely. That's a set that's not held up its end of the bargain. And that is absolutely one way you can look at this. I prefer to look at it as, this is what Pokemon cards should be doing. This is a set which has absolutely done this. Long may it continue. But I've told you everything you need to know. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this. Tell me which cards from Journey Together you've picked up. Tell me which ones you want to be picking up. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join the Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Chelsea Rose, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout-out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.